championship so close you can taste it.
Oliver Askew has won the Freedom 100.
Side by side. And your new champion, Christian Rasmussen.
Indy drivers, start your elite engines.
And with that, engines come to life down here on pit lane. Logan Knapp giving the call to fire up the engines that he helped build here in Wisconsin. USF 2000, race 1 set to go.
Thank you very much, Rob Howden. And Greg, let's take a look again, just to kind of recap with qualifying sessions. Obviously, Kiko turned in what a great performance there in qualifying, really late on the quick lap to set pole today.
And backed it up. He did both poles, and as did everybody in the road to Indy. Everybody got double poles, but it was a superb lap. But I think one of the impressive ones was Nolan Siegel in that number 10 entry. Just an incredible run for the D-Force Racing entry. As Rob mentioned, a sweep of the front row. But Nolan comes in here 9th in the points. His second was his best finish. He did that at the second round at Barber. But struggling a bit in the points, this is going to be a huge confidence boost for him to be able to start up on that front row.
And Yuvan Sundarmurthy going to start on the inside of row number 3, but he's got a lot of experience here. Ran in the June sprints here just a couple of weeks ago, as well as obviously ran in the runoffs. And last year was kind of a force to be reckoned with. Up in the top 5 here, it's a great qualifying effort for Pabst Racing at their home track. They're obviously been a little bit on the struggle bus this weekend. Haven't had quite the top pace, but still a 2:11.39.68, good for a 5th on the grid for Yuvan Sundarmurthy. But I would expect that team to perform much better here in race conditions.
Yeah, they know this place. They know what needs to happen during the course of a race, and I think you're absolutely right. That's going to be a real opportunity for them. And Jace Denmark also doing a nice job with his qualifying run as well. Josh Pearson as well. So they're in there. They're up in that top 10. And as you said, Eric, they race well here.
We talked quite a bit during the qualifying sessions about how qualifying up front incredibly important. But again, Road America is such a long race course, 4-mile lap, 14 corners from 5 to 14. It's really a tight racetrack. You really don't think of it that way because of the 3 very long straightaways, but you have a very tight cornering situation from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And then you do have obviously 9 through 12, which is stretched out, but you do have quite a bit of unloaded cornering in the carousel, falling away downhill off camber. The kink is the kink, I mean, one of the most famous corners in all of motorsports. And Canada Corner can be very unforgiving too.
Very much so. And the interesting thing is, this is one of those tracks, we've talked about it. If you're not up in those first 2 rows, you don't panic too much because you think about it. Turn 3, turn 5, turn 8, Canada, all great overtaking areas if you get the run through the preceding corner. And 3, people don't think about 3 too much here, but it's a huge corner because, one, it's an overtake corner opportunity, tighter than you think it is. But the exit of 3 is massive because it sets you up for something down into turn 5, and that's really, really crucial. And you see that with all these great. That's one of the things that's always fascinated me about this track, Eric, is every corner that you have is a great overtaking into it. Is also you got to get the exit right because it sets you up for that next great overtaking corner. 3 into 5, 8 into 12. It's crucial.
The only corner that truly is a corner that presents an overtaking opportunity on the next straightaway is turn 14, very honestly, because if you look at all of the major playing corners, 3, even 1 to some certain degree, you don't think of it, but 1 is actually downhill as well. 1 is a downhill in the break. 3 is downhill in the break. 5 is downhill in the break. 8 is downhill to break. 12 is a flat bottom corner. And then you come to 14, and that's the only corner where you're actually coming off the corner, but you are still coming downhill into 14 in that break zone, coming from the crest of 13 into 14. So all of the major overtaking points in this racetrack, all are downhill corners.
Absolutely. Downhill braking, unsighted apexes for some of them. It's just really impressive. And you have to think that Cliff Tuftsy and the gang, when they were designing this place, were twisting their mustaches going, how can we challenge these drivers? And you think about it, even without the bridge, Billy Mitchell turn, fast in, blind. High commitment stuff here.
Absolutely. And, we've got one of those situations where a lap here is all about the rhythm, maintaining rhythm and pace. And once again, we're letting him catch his breath. But you were like a man on a
He
mission
broke the
every
tape.
time.
I could see him break the tape.
I got a golf cart. I got a golf cart ride
Okay,
today.
all right. 'Cause I was just going to say, you're like breaking the track record up here. That's pretty quick.
Getting set to go for USF 2000. The D-Force drivers climbing the hill. Nolan Siegel on the outside, Kiko Porto on the inside. Always an exciting start here. Our first wheel-to-wheel racing, and we are getting set to go. Green, green, green. Racing up into turn number 1. We'll watch them fan out. D-Force drivers getting down to the wall. Not quite enough, though. Look for Kohlbecker or D'Orlando to try to tuck in. 2, maybe 3 wide further back in the pack. Trying to go 2 wide through turn number 1. Clean thus far. USF 2000 drivers settling in back down the hill to turn number 3. You can see the 2 drivers from Cape Motorsports now running 3rd and 4th as well. Josh Pearson fighting to work his way forward here early.
3 wide, middle of the pack in turn 3. Greg was talking about that passing opportunity, especially here on the opening lap. And a little bit of agricultural work, right, at Sargento coming through to the Marine sweep here.
Shouldn't be a surprise, right?
Oh, look at this. 3 abreast down into 5 for just a minute. And that looks like D'Orlando has picked up a spot, gone right around the outside of Nolan Siegel.
A couple drivers getting shoveled to the outside of the racetrack here as well. The other side of the rumbles. One of them was a 34, Dylan Christie. Look at this move to the inside. Comes, I believe, that is D'Orlando diving in there big time, and Spike Kohlbecker. So, yeah, Cape Motorsports has gone to 2nd and 3rd, so moves Siegel in that number 11 back to 4th. He was the first driver that got on the outside of the rumbles.
And Siegel didn't really have a very good entry into 6. We got 2 cars backwards off of 7. Looks like some minimal contact, both cars underway. That's about as lucky as you're going to get in turn 7.
Yeah, I looked over at my live timing for a second. You talk about turn 7, I'm thinking it's going to be a huge wreck because that's what happens there. A high-commitment corner, very quick, flat out here with the drivers in USF 2000, and it doesn't take much. That's kind of the corner where they're finally into that single file, right? They can still go double file up to 6. Once they get to 7, you really got to give it up. Some drivers will get aggressive to the inside, try to hold their spot, but if you're not there, you got to give it up, get in line, and go back to racing. How about 2, 3 wide in the candle bottoms as well?
We had a couple side-by-side in the King.
That's
Talk
a no-no.
about commitment.
Thank you.
You don't think that? Yeah, they go over that in the engineering room? Do not go side-by-side in the kink.
Well, Siegel just did not get a very good launch out of 3 as he was kind of tucked to the inside and trying to defend from D'Orlando, and that really cost him in the end into 5.
You see
There's
that
a
chop,
big
Greg?
chop at 14.
Big chop across. I'm not sure which driver it was, but came right across the bow, I think, of Josh Pearson. Field streaming. We'll give you the top 10 when they come across the line to get things underway. Kiko Porto, indeed the leader. Michael D'Orlando running in the 2nd spot. I believe that's Spike Kohlbecker in 3rd. Indeed, Nolan Siegel 4th, Josh Green 5th, Yuvan Sundermurthy in 6th by Christian Brooks from 12th up into 7th. Great opening lap for Brooks. Simon Sykes up to the 8th position as well. Sykes started 16th. What a start for Simon Sykes. Bajoy Garg in 9th, and Prescott Campbell, who started in 6th. He fell back a couple of spots in the D-Force racing machine, but great start for Brooks.
It was, and I mean, he's 3rd in the points, tied for 3rd in the points, so
Crucial.
starting that far back, that was huge to make up that kind of ground first lap.
Indeed, because you can go to work now, right? There's the front 2 guys pulled away, Porto and D'Orlando. Let's try to pick up Brooks. There he is right there in the red and white exclusive Autosport, number 44. So a really strong start for him, and now he'll go to work on trying to find a way by Sundermurthy and Josh Green. Yeah, it's actually Josh Green in front of him right now. Sundermurthy a little further forward. Great shot here at turn number 6, some side-by-side. Oh, it's Billy Fraser. Fraser with contact. Someone dove to the inside of Fraser in turn number 6, and up in the air he went. I got to think he's probably,
He left his wing in the gravel there.
That's it. Lost the front wing. Billy Fraser, some driver just dove to the inside. Not sure who it was. Who was behind Fraser? Potentially Eric Evans tried to make a move to the inside of 6 and didn't quite get it done. And that's a turn, Eric, you've got to get inside and have that position. Otherwise, the contact is going to be your fault.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those where you've got to be at least almost to the mirrors at that point.
Agreed.
Because of the commitment. It's a blind corner, so the car on the outside with that early turn and to try to make that 90-degree apex, your car's unloading, you're under braking, it's very light in the rear, and you've got to make sure that you're in that position to make sure you clear it. A little contact there in Canada.
That's some aggressive racing as well. I want to say that might have been Josh Green and Yuvan Sundermurthy potentially going at it there, coming up out of Canada into turn number 12. They're up to 13 now. getting rolling here with USF 2000, our first of 6 Road to Indy races here on the weekend. Of course, we'll follow this up with the
Full course
drivers
yellow
in USF 2000. Indeed, yeah, full course yellow. As you said, 12 lapper here for drivers in USF 2000, full course yellow. We'll try to figure out exactly the reason for the incident right now.
Would it be for that wing sitting in the runoff up at turn 6?
I wouldn't
wouldn't
think so. I wouldn't think
I don't
so.
know what else may have happened here.
Well, AMR's safety truck is in the gravel trap for sure. Safety making the attendance to the gravel trap. It is possible, though, with being such a large piece of debris, though, if somebody sails off into there, it could maybe get punted. So I guess that may be a safer choice there for the moment. The advantage here, though, is once the field is collected by the safety car, they'll be picked up in turn 5. If it is just for that wing up in that area, unless there's a car up there.
I was going to say, right up by the tire barrier, I see.
Yeah, there's a car up there that we didn't see before. Yeah, somebody's actually up against the tire barrier.
All right, then.
Well, that makes sense.
Two drivers. That might have been Jace Denmark then. So is Jace Denmark potentially that made the move, I wonder, on inside of Fraser, unless that was another incident. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of a look at a replay here to find out what happened up there in turn number 6. So here's the shot from 7.
Top of the screen.
Yeah, there's Fraser.
Ooh, wheel-to-wheel contact.
Yeah, that's
he got up in the air.
Yep.
And indeed that's actually Fraser in the wall. That's Billy Fraser in the tires. The driver who came out, which I thought was Fraser, was Eric Evans. So that's the issue there, I believe. Yeah, so Evans was able to come back out. Currently runs 18th. That's Billy Fraser. You can see as we've got a lot closer there. Fraser, the Kiwi, in the wall on the outside of row number 5. It wasn't a aggressively hard hit, but, yeah, the contact there.
And Fraser went up and over, obviously, Evans' wing.
Yeah. We couldn't see that really from the vantage point we were looking at. I had thought that was actually Fraser that was coming out of the corner.
All right, let's take a look at it again. If you watch very closely here, you're going to see him get a little bit of air there.
Oh yeah, he got quite a bit of air. He's probably
3 or 4
the
feet
front,
in the
at least
air,
4 or 5 feet in the air. Exactly right. You can see him out off the end of the pavement there and sliding off.
I hear that affects your ability to turn.
Exactly that.
The,
front wing.
The contact patch on the 2 front tires is not that big to start with, and when you eliminate that, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. So the front wing, which we thought was actually Fraser's, I think was Eric Evans' wing, right?
I think you're right.
And then of course Fraser into the wall. It's been a tough weekend for Billy Fraser. Shame to see that happen. A couple other drivers out here early as well. I don't know that we got a lap time for Matt Round-Garrido. So 2 of the exclusive Autosport drivers with issues here. Not sure what happened to Matt Round-Garrido. Started the 10th position, and he is out as well. So not sure there.
And I'll tell you, with Brooks's rocket start and other action out there, points leader Sundar Amorthi has dropped to 7th.
Indeed. And think about Christian Brooks started back where he did. Then he gets a great opening lap. Then he gets the full course yellow. So everybody bunches back up again. So kind of playing into the hands of Christian Brooks here right now as drivers working their way back around here. Hopefully we'll get another. I don't know if we'll go green this time by. I was trying to look at the driver, the passenger in the pace car to see if they had that one finger up or not.
Not as impressive as Christian Brooks, but still Josh Green, 8th to 5th in the early going and getting around Sundar Amorthi. So good start for Josh.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Simon Sykes, too, as it started back in the 16th spot. He's up in the 8th position, I believe, as well, right?
Well,
yes.
Let's look at the family effort for Michael Myers as well. They started 25th because of their incident in practice where they didn't get a qualifying time up to 17th. So he's making his way through the field as well. But the one person that's kind of going backwards is Prescott Campbell. I think one of the cars that got caught off maybe in that turn 7 incident kind of dropped back, maybe got off track, on that opening lap in turn 7 where they were 2 or 3 wide coming out of 6.
Yeah, I want to say that might have been Campbell and Jace Denmark. Those drivers started up front and both them back. They might have been the drivers that looped around, as you had said, Eric. Good call there. Prescott Campbell in the D-Force number 11, a winner this year at Barber Motorsports Park. Jace Denmark, the rookie out of Phoenix, Arizona, and the number 23 for Pabst. Both those drivers falling down the order. In fact, trying to see who has not picked up another lap yet. We got a couple drivers who are down laps. There goes Prescott Campbell there, I believe, and Kent Vaccaro. Yeah, they're getting their laps in now, 3rd lap in. Yeah, indeed, an issue for Matt Round-Garrido. Looks like he's got 2 laps in. I wonder what's going on with Matt as well. But otherwise, interesting start to the race with the contact that we saw. A little hectic. Let's put it that way.
But aren't they usually here?
Well, a lot of times, they're hectic, but a lot of times this series we go green to checker. We did both of the races on the oval, green to checker, which I was so impressed at Lucas Oil Raceway to be able to get that done in what is very tough conditions and a tough racetrack. Pretty easy to make a mistake there, but green to checker. And we do that quite often with the Road to Indy. This particular racetrack, though, I think, again, I've said this a couple times throughout the weekend, this track is raceable. This is a place you can make passes on. And I think people have been itching to be able to go forward. And a lot of guys had trouble in qualifying. Changes your mindset, right? Because you got to go forward quickly.
Absolutely, but we talked about it as well, that this, as you said, a track where you could do it. You've got some great overtaking opportunities here. If you get the run, if you get a good tow, and you execute cleanly, you can get up to it. I mean, just ask Christian Brooks, right?
Yeah, indeed that. Christian Brooks will launch from P6 here. Drivers circulating still under the yellow flag. It'll be 8 laps to go when we come back around, I believe. Indeed, we'll get the 4th lap in the books. It's a 12-lap race for USF 2000. Indy Pro 2000 drivers have likely brought their cars down to the mock grid right now as they're going to be up next. Indy Pro will have their event to follow. Then Indy Lights a little later on this afternoon. 3:05 start time for Indy Lights race number 1. 12:10 start time for Indy Pro. So we'll essentially go right from Victory Lane, Titus Victory Lane, right into the driver introductions. And, of course, the command to fire up the engines in Indy Pro 2000. So press the reset button on the first of 2 races for the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, as Kiko Porto did a great job at the start, able to get the jump he needed. Nolan Siegel got caught out on the outside, didn't get a good run at a 3, as Eric had mentioned. Got caught out on the outside of the racetrack, and the rumbles was actually the far side, the right side of the rumbles, coming into turn number 5, and that lost a couple positions there.
And I'll tell you, how much do you think Kiko Porto is going to be protecting to the inside with this long run up the hill and then flattening out, dropping down into 1, and the opportunity for a tow? It's going to be fascinating to see whether Michael D'Orlando, who we've seen put on some pretty aggressive moves, if he could figure a way to sweep the outside into 1.
This is a precarious place to start on the pole position or start up front on a restart because, as you said, it's such a huge run down the straightaway after getting the green flag when you crest the hill that it could be D'Orlando, like you said. He could be able to get the double draft coming in. Out of 14, and we're getting back at it here. Kiko Porto punches off. Green flag flying in the air. It'll be 8 laps to go when we come back across the line. 4 down, 8 to go, and here we go. The first run down here on the restart. Christian Brooks, remember, got that good jump up to 6. He's going to tuck in behind Josh Green. And away we go. All the drivers coming across, start, finish. The drivers remaining after the incident.
There it is, side by side through 1.
D'Orlando on the outside of Kiko Porto, trying to hold it through 1. Now down to turn number 2, and still side by side, but to the inside goes Kiko Porto. He'll hold the spot. They'll get a good run out of turn number 3, and look right there as well. Spike Kohlbecker, the rookie, not quite close, but pretty strong there in P3 as well.
I think that was a very savvy move by D'Orlando to say, I'm not going to run the outside here. I want to get in because I don't want to lose that momentum and have Kohlbecker coming up and steaming by me.
Almost looks like Sooner Muthi, Brooks, and Green were 3 wide for a moment coming underneath Sargento.
Yeah, that was wild coming down into turn number 5. You see them still fighting it out here up to turn number 6. Good shot here. Hold on. It's still Porto to the outside. Look at D'Orlando trying to run the cushion on the outside of turn number 6. Christian Brooks able to dive up in there as well. Brooks, I think, into P4. Indeed, Brooks up to 4th position already. Great run there for Christian.
And D'Orlando and Porto were side by side through 7, still there. Look at this. That's 4 corners now. They've been side by side. Still.
D'Orlando on the inside of the carousel, though. That's going to be good for him. He may come out with the lead at the bottom of the carousel here. Michael D'Orlando still side by side out of the carousel. Kiko Porto, the Brazilian, not giving up at all.
Do these guys realize the kink is next?
Hold your breath, folks. Side by side through the kink.
Unreal.
Wow. These
leaders. We all just flinched.
Wow. all of us just blinked for a minute.
Look at this.
Yeah.
They've been side by side since turn number 5. We have a driver off the racetrack further back in the pack. That might be Michael Myers.
That's a great save.
That was Myers. Through Canada Quarter right now. We're just waiting to try to see where the leaders are again. This is crazy side-by-side racing, and it's Michael D'Orlando, the Cape Motorsports driver coming off the victory in the Freedom 75 at Lucas Oil Raceway, guys. He has gone to P1, but that doesn't guarantee anything with another run up the straightaway.
And you know what? For these supposedly crazed young guns that are working up through there, how about that? Over half a lap, pure respect.
100%.
Pure
Impressed.
respect.
So impressive. Both those drivers, second-year competitors here in the USF 2000 series, to be able to do that side by side through the kink. Like you said, we all kind of flinched a little bit as they went through the kink side by side. And here's Porto back around the outside. Book it. Kiko Porto goes back to the lead.
Great toe down the front straightaway. Got a little bit better run out of 14, and now has got about a car length or two separation for Porto. But what a great pass to the outside, doing it the long way around in turn 1.
I love this racing right now. This is a tremendous track for these drivers. Everybody lining up behind Christian Brooks as well. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Brooks, Sykes, Sundaramurthy, and then Josh Green. Thomas Nepfu tried to get in there as well. Brooks down to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Sykes thinking about the inside. Too wide through turn number 5. I love this camera angle here of them getting hard on the brakes. That downhill braking into turn number 5. And Parker Thompson and I talked about it during the pre-show, guys. He goes, at any other racetrack, let's say it's Indianapolis on the road course, you're braking around the 300 board. Here in 5, you're braking at the 200 board. You're pounding on that brake pedal, getting that big initial brake hit, and then rolling off to get through the corner. It's such a short braking zone, even though it's downhill.
Well, and you've got to get it so right? If you wait too late, you overshoot, you slow up the hill. If you get a little bit too cautious, you're just slow through the corner. And it's a balancing act at so many of these braking zones here.
You see how close they were there, Greg. If you're on too late on it, somebody's going to dive to the inside
Absolutely.
and get by you. You've got to be
There's no mercy
to the
here.
very edge. That's it. Back down through the kettle bottoms again. I had mentioned an issue with Matt Round Garrido. I think Matt may be having transponder trouble, and they're just adding the points. They have him at the tail of the field. But I want to say I saw the exclusive Autosport car.
Ooh!
Who's that? That's the 10. That's Nolan Siegel, I think.
Oh, man. That was a monster save.
So I'll update myself again. So Nolan Siegel just went off there. The driver who went off in the opening lap on the outside was actually Prescott Campbell. That's why he fell back. The car is obviously exactly the same livery. We just got to pick the numbers up. The 10, 11, and 12, the D-Force drivers. And, of course, the number 1 for their teammate Eli Navarro. Cape Motorsport drivers looking really good out front right now. Michael D'Orlando got pretty aggressive there on that last lap to be able to get the pass. I think they may be running 1-2 right now.
And somehow Nolan hung on to 4th as well with that save. I mean, I didn't see what started it, but when you're in the grass to the driver's right, the exit of 12, something's happened as you're heading into 13.
So Porto has the lead. The 2 Cape drivers, 2nd and 3rd. That is Michael D'Orlando and Spike Kohlbecker. And Kohlbecker, the rookie, like I've said, this Road America race is where rookies can kind of get into the spotlight. And what a podium finish it would be if Kohlbecker's able to get the job done. Christian Brooks now running 5th. Nolan Siegel just ahead of him in 4th. Siegel went off, as we said. I think Siegel's gone back a couple of spots. I believe Christian Brooks and Simon Sykes able to get by. This is the best run we've seen out of Simon Sykes at Legacy Autosport, and I give him props. Again, last year, very successful here at the SCCA National Championship runoffs, and to be able to get that, take the success and the knowledge he got from that weekend and really kind of take that legacy car up into the top 10. Really good run for Simon.
Well, we've talked repeatedly how much track time really benefits these drivers. Anytime that you can find a track and run on it consistently and have a lot of extra track time. Now, that was 9 days of track activity.
Exactly, yeah.
For drivers during the runoffs last year. And as you know, 9 days in a row of being consistent in the car, it's going to do nothing but help you improve.
And I don't think, Eric, there's another racetrack on our schedule where track knowledge helps, because this 14 corners here, all challenging corners, right? If you get 1 or 2 wrong, you're off by half a second, and that puts you in the middle of the pack, right? This is it, to be able to know how to get around this track and to get through the carousel and to hustle through Canada and really get that, the whole 13-14 combination is so hard as well. If you've done it before and you can make that's Miles Rowe dropping a wheel on the outside, but if you can get that, man, you're almost guaranteed to having more success.
And Nolan Siegel, when he hung on to 4th when he came by, but he's now dropped to 6th. And, of course, he dirtied up those tires, and they're pretty hot. So it took him a while to clean them off. Couldn't get in. Oh, we got somebody off at the exit of 14.
That might be Miles Rowe again, I think. And you know what? Probably right what you said there, Greg. He went off in the grass and then come to 14 for the first time. Tires still dirty, and went off in 14. Great point.
And Nolan's off has also created now a sizable gap between 3rd and 4th. And it's really opened up just a little bit here. It's over 2 seconds.
Indeed.
So that lead group of 3 are kind of off into their own little race right now.
That's a great battle further back. We just saw right there as well with Eric Evans and Trey Burke and Kent Vaccaro and Evan Stammer all battling it out there. Back under the Sargento Bridge, you see the gap there between 3rd and 4th. Christian Brooks, who started back in 16th, working his way into P4. I will say this. Okay, let's watch the action. We're still going at it. That's Sooner, Murthy, and Siegel and Sykes. I think that Sykes may have lost a spot there, guys. I think maybe Siegel around the outside into turn number 5.
Well, once Siegel got those tires cleaned off, he's been really quick.
Action into turn 7, hurry downs, field, back half of the field kind of strung out a little bit now. Things have seemed to settle down. We kind of see this a lot of times. The very first couple of laps after a restart or the initial start tend to be a little bit frenetic. Contact in turn 8. And
one of the Jay Howard driver development cars goes around. I think that might be Jackson Lee. Not quite sure.
That is the 8 car, I do believe.
Yeah, Jackson Lee. Someone got into the back of him. That was the rotation. You can see someone obviously getting into his left rear, set the car back around. So a tough one there for Jackson Lee as he's going to fall to the tail of the field. Not sure if there's damage on that car right now, whether he's able to go. Look at this fight right now. That is, I think that's Siegel and Brooks. Indeed, Siegel trying to go around the outside of Christian Brooks. Wow. There's your leader, Porto, D'Orlando, Kohlbecker. Brooks running 4th, Siegel 5th. 6th spot is Sundar Murthy, your point leader. 7th is Pearson. 8th, Josh Green. 9th, Thomas Nepvu. So we got ourselves a fight right now for P4. Look at that group. Leaders checking out your top 3 drivers with 4 to go this time across the line, but we got 5 drivers ready to scrap for the remaining positions inside the top 10.
Well, the frenetic battle for that 4th place is just allowing those top 3 runners to just stretch it out a little bit, and that's kind of what you want to see in your mirrors if you're 3rd place right now. Is it gives you the opportunity to kind of just focus ahead and put your head down without having to worry about what's behind you.
You think about the championship battle as well and the guys that are in it. Sundar Murthy, Kiko Porto, Christian Brooks tied actually in points right now with Michael D'Orlando. And anytime you come into a race, all you really have to do is beat the point leader, right? That's the primary thing. Beat the point leader, close that gap. Well, Sundar Murthy back in 8th. Everybody he has behind him is in front of him right now. Kiko Porto has the lead. Kohlbecker in 2nd. Brooks in 4th. As they run on the racetrack, the leader in the points would actually be Michael D'Orlando with 239 points. Kiko Porto would have 231. So this is exciting, the way everything's shaking down here now.
And for Juven, obviously out of Oconomowoc and driving for Pabst Racing, that this is home for them. This has got to be a very frustrating run for him right now.
Still 4 to go. We'll see what he's able to do, but his teammate Josh Pearson able to slide by there. And it looks to me like I think we got a bit of a breakaway there with Christian Brooks and Nolan Siegel. I think 4th and 5th have stretched out a little bit, giving themselves a bit more breathing room.
I think the smart thing here is obviously there's only 3 laps to go next time by, but you kind of settle the battle down a little bit, try to get away, like I said, so you can kind of focus on what's ahead rather than what's behind you. That frenetic side-by-side battle for that 4th, 5th spot, that's just letting the top 3 get away. And of course, the last thing you want here is a yellow as well. But you want to make sure that you're focusing on the road ahead. Put your head down, elbows up, and just take and attack the racetrack at this point.
Nolan Siegel's been able to get by Christian Brooks and move Nolan Siegel in the D-Force entry back up to 4th. Brooks goes down to 5th, and now Brooks has Simon Sykes in the Legacy Autosport number 19 pushing him. That right there, just we saw there, is Matt Round-Garrido. I think he is in 11th spot in front of Eli Navarro. Obviously a timing issue right now with Matt Round-Garrido. I'm going to say he's 11th. That's a guesstimate, but I think that's where he's running, right in front of Eli Navarro, as I had said. There he is right there. Yeah, in front of Navarro and then Prescott Campbell. So Matt Round-Garrido, P11 right now. His teammate Christian Brooks running P5. And again, the key is stay in front of the leader in the points. Juven Sundar Murthy in the 22 running in the 8th spot right now, but right as we watch here, Kiko Porto trying to get his 2nd win of the season. Everything going good for this Brazilian right now. A couple of pole positions. Man, you sweep the day here today, you go into tomorrow with so much confidence. Especially knowing that D-Force is just a super strong team right now. They were able to qualify 1, 2, 3 tomorrow, so he's going to be surrounded by his teammates coming to the line. So
and he starts P1 again. So I mean, it's just all falling into place for him. Hope that wasn't the announcer's curse. Oh, big pop here down into 5.
That's a good battle there right now between Josh Pearson and Simon Sykes. Pearson was able to get by Sykes to take over 5th, and now Sykes went back down the inside of turn 5, and then Pearson over-undered him coming up to turn number 6. Nicely done for Josh Pearson. And we'll bring this up. Pearson just, I want to say 15 or 16 years of age. I'm not sure he just had a birthday recently. But remember what happened last year, Eric, when he brake failure to turn 1 straight off into the tires at the end of the straightaway. He's a kid that has matured so much over the last 10 months. It's been just absolutely amazing to me to see how much he's grown up and just really getting a feel for the racecraft here. A top kart racer throughout his years in junior karting, came into the series at 14 years of age, and has been pretty impressive coming up to speed.
Well, we talked pretty much all day yesterday about the maturation of these drivers as they progress through the road to Indy, and those that tend to mature faster than others tend to remain very quick, and B, pick up on racecraft. And racecraft is really the critical thing to taking that next step too.
It's just understanding the dynamics of the car, the dynamics of approaching a corner. There's so much of it. One of the book series I love reading is Speed Secrets from Ross Bentley. I go back and read those occasionally just because I absolutely love the science behind getting a car through a corner and everything about it. And that's what the drivers start learning. In karting, it's so raw. It's such a pure form of the sport. Yeah, they're getting coached like crazy, but they're young. They're 12 to 15, whatever it may be. It's just raw getting out there and getting it done. There's so much more when it talks about driving a race car.
Well, and that's the racecraft element, and having that raw speed's great. But if it's uncontrolled raw speed, that's when you tend to have the drivers that are very erratic. And it's you've got to learn how to rein that in and focus. And I've said this for a lot of time: the drivers who are really successful at any level are the drivers who have that bandwidth, that ability to multi-process all the time and really be able to strategize big picture think.
Well, that's really the difference from stepping up from karting into a program like this. Obviously with a go-kart, there's no suspension. It's air pressures, it's spacers. You're all changing weight location, and it's all about just wheeling the cart.
And it's all mechanical.
It's all mechanical. Now you have to understand.
Quick one. I'll get back to that. So Eli Navarro's gone off the racetrack in turn number 5. That was the battle he was having with Dylan Christie and Simon Sykes. So Navarro in the number 1 off the racetrack. He'll fall to the tail of the field, or at least deeper into the field. Look at this fight here, too. That's Josh Green, Yuvan Sundaramurthy, and Josh Pearson. That's for 7th, 8th, and 9th, and that's the point leader right in the middle of that.
Well, absolutely. But just to finish up on the topic, it's adaptability. Now you're learning mechanical grip and aero grip. Now you're having to understand that there's 4 corners on that car that are going to behave differently all the way around. It's all about that package that you have to understand.
That little hiss you heard was Greg Creamer watching 2 more drivers go side by side, Sykes and I believe it's Josh Pearson side by side through the kink again. I held my breath while Eric was talking about that one. There they are, side by side,
doing it again.
That actually might be Brooks, and that.
Ooh, there it is.
No, that.
Little wiggle.
That's the battle. That was I believe the 24 of Josh Pearson able to get by Simon Sykes. Wow. 1 to go, folks. We will see the white flag this time by. That's a great scrap back there as well with Prescott Campbell and Dylan Christie, Bajoy Gard, and Matt Round-Garrido. But Kiko Porto holding what is almost a full second advantage over Michael D'Orlando. This racetrack, this event, it can be a turning point for any driver in the season. Midway through, you can get on a run here. Kiko Porto trying to get his second victory of the season. He'll take tighten up the points championship for certain. And they've got the white flag from Aaron Likens here at start-finish.
And Yuvan Sundaramurthy has jumped up a spot, got into 7, got around Pearson.
No, that's the battle right there, I think, isn't it?
That's big, yeah.
Wow, what a scrap. There's your leaders coming under the Sordento Bridge for the final time. There's Spike Kohlbecker, Nolan Siegel. Christian Brooks actually has some breathing room now to Simon Sykes, because that Sykes-Pearson battle allowed him to pull away a little bit. Great run here for the number 5 of Spike Kohlbecker in the Ignite Auto Sport with Cape Motorsports program. Karting program, the Margay Ignite program, entry-level karting, Briggs and Stratton, all made in the USA, Hoosier Tires. It's just a tremendous karting program, and they're pulling drivers out of karting into this Ignite Auto Sport race team, which I think is super exciting. But this is the final lap again. Battle there further back between Kent Vaccaro and Eric Evans. But Kiko Porto out front, trying to see if he can't finish it off. The Cape Motorsports drivers doing good in second and third. Would be the first career podium in Road to Indy competition for Spike Kohlbecker, the driver out of St. Louis, Missouri. But this is all about Kiko Porto right now, the Brazilian for D-Force Racing. This would give him some momentum going into the second half of the season. Down through Kettle Bottoms, Eric, looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked yesterday about success breeds success. And for Spike, this is a big turning moment perhaps for that team, is boosting a little bit of confidence.
That's it. So here we go, folks. Wrapping things up here in the first of two USF 2000 races here this weekend at Road America. Through 13, now 14. D'Orlando closing as much as he can, but it's going to be too little, too late, as Porto up the hill, climbing, waiting for that checkered flag. And the first of two races here at Road America goes to Kiko Porto. Twin checkers to the Brazilian at start-finish. Porto with the victory. D'Orlando in second. Spike Kohlbecker on the podium in third. Look at the gaggle of cars coming out of 14. Look at this drag race. That, I think, is that Christian Brooks? No, that's the battle with Matt Round-Garrido. Trying to hold everybody off. He's going to be, I believe, 12th. Indeed. Yeah, he ends up in the 12th spot. I think Bajoy Garg in 13th. So here's your top 10. We'll give a look at that in a couple of seconds. Kiko Porto, though, that cool-down lap is so much fun after you've won the race. It's even better here at Road America because it's probably 5 minutes long. A 4-mile drive around here.
You can enjoy it a little bit more.
That's a little more time to savor. Of course, he's getting the radio call from the team, congratulating Kiko Porto on the victory. Some big improvements, though, and Greg, you brought it up. We're talking about, Christian Brooks starting back in 12th position. He goes all the way up to P5. Simon Sykes back in 16th. He goes all the way up to 6th. Those are big improvements when you had rough qualifying.
Absolutely they are, and that's going to be really, really good motivation for tomorrow. Letting them know that they're fast. Couple of notes here. Sandura Morthy and Josh Pearson set their fastest laps on that last lap, and Sandura Morthy closed it up to within a 10th on the back of Simon Sykes. So showing some speed late here, but it was because of those two great runs of Brooks and Sykes that Sandura Morthy lost ground, lost some points.
That's it, yeah. Based on the points I'm seeing here on live timing, they're unofficial, of course. It says 239 points for Michael D'Orlando, 231 for Kiko Porto, 232 for actually Christian Brooks. That would move him into second, and 209 for Juven Sundar Murthy. I'm not quite sure those are official. We'll get those updated. We'll have a look before the race tomorrow. But otherwise, let's have a look at the top 10. The Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship Grand Prix of Road America. The first round is done. Kiko Porto with the victory. The margin, .881. Michael D'Orlando second. Spike Kohlbecker third. Nolan Siegel fourth. Christian Brooks in fifth. Simon Sykes ends up in sixth. Juven Sundar Murthy seventh. Josh Green eighth. Josh Pearson eighth, rather. Josh Green in ninth. And Thomas Nepfu rounding out the top 10. Guys, I got to sprint over to victory lane. I'll let you wrap things up here, but tremendous run for Kiko Porto.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. Greg, wow. And that's just race one.
I know.
We get to do this again tomorrow.
I know. What a way to kick this off. And, I mean, the first of 6 races for the Road to Indy, and you just have a gut feeling that they're all going to be this entertaining. That was superb.
Really difficult race. For the first 3 laps, I opened a gap, and then come the full course yellow, and then all the guys come back together, and then I started fighting with Michael D'Orlando super hard. We stayed like half a lap side by side, but then I passed him, opened a little bit the gap, but still very hard because he is too fast and using the draft behind me. So a difficult race, but I'm very happy with the result. I only want to say thank you for the team, thank you for my family, the hard work we did all the weekend. And is this tomorrow we have more races? Let's keep pushing.
Road America.